Hey, Shalom YouTube tribe. This is Brother Richard at Ozarks Altruistic, and today I've come here to read the Torah portion with you for the week. It is called Yitro or Jethro in English. The reason why we don't use the J is because it wasn't used back then. The letter Y, the Yod in Yitro sounds like a Y. Okay, so that's the explanation of that, and the reason why it's called Yitro is because that is one of the words or the name in the first sentence here of this Torah portion. So, like I said last week, that's how they're named, based on a couple of words to a word that's in the first sentence / verse of the Torah portion. Okay? So, without further ado, chapter 18, verse 1. And Yitro, the priest of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moshe and Yisrael, his people, that Yahuwah had brought Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. Okay, so he brought Yisrael out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. And Yitro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, the wife of Moshe, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom. For he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the Elohim of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. So see, these 2 names, they have meanings. And the name was spoken, written, and then the meaning was after the fact, okay? So Hebrew names have significance. Okay. Yitro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mount of Elohim. And he said to Moshe, I, your father-in-law, Yitro, am coming to you, and with your wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law, and bowed down, and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare. And they went into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that Yahuwah had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrites, the Egyptians, for Yisrael, and for Yisrael's sake, for that matter, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yahuwah had delivered them. And Yitro rejoiced for all the good which Yahuwah had done for Yisrael, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Yitro said, Blessed be Yahuwah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, which was a type of Satan, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites, which refers to slavery, which is also indicative of the Messiah. If you want to go ahead and superimpose that over the top, what he did, he's delivered us out of from sin. And Mitzrayim, or Egypt, is a representative of the world, like as in today, the whole world, because Egypt ruled most of the world back then. And they were some wicked folks, just like maybe perhaps we have today, the same issues, right? Nothing new under the sun. Okay. And Yitro said, Blessed be Yahuwah, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites. Now, on occasion, whenever I start to talk, I'm going to go back, and I may not go to the next verse that we were going to be on, but I may just repeat the one beforehand, because, hey, it's good anyway, right? And so, twice, it's not going to hurt us, and it's going to help us to remember, because this is an awesome statement anyway. And one more thing, so Yitro was a high priest of Midian, so I don't believe they were into Torah worship, or Torah practices in a way to worship Yahuwah at that point. And so this is a pretty big deal that this gentleman is saying that Yahuwah is awesome like he is, because he recognizes these things, and this is going to help him. Okay, Moshe's testimony, you feel me? Moshe's testimony is going to help Yitro and a lot of other people, by the way, including you and me. All right? Because Moshe's testimony and Yahushua, the Messiah's testimony are the same thing. All right. Now, I know that Yahuwah is greater than all the mighty ones, because he is. Indeed, in the matter in which they acted proudly above them. Then Yitro, the father-in-law of Moshe, brought an ascending offering and other slaughterings unto Elohim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before Elohim. So they did slaughterings and everything like that. And Yitro took part in this because he believed in Yahuwah. All right. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe set to rightly rule the people. And the people stood before Moshe from the morning until evening. Wow. And when the father-in-law of Moshe saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this that you're doing for this people? Why do you sit by yourself? And all the people stand before you from morning until evening." And Moshe said to the father-in-law, "Because the people come to me and seek Elohim." They come to me to seek Elohim. All right. They want to know the mind of the Father on things, the right rulings. Okay. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another, and make known the laws of Elohim and his Torah. That's a plural of Torah. Okay. And the father-in-law of Moshe said to him, by the way, Yitro's pretty wise. He says, "What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it by yourself. Now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Elohim be with you. Stand before Elohim." By the way, Elohim means our mighty one, okay? "Stand before Elohim for the people, and you shall bring the matters to Elohim, and you shall enlighten them concerning the laws and the Torah," the plural of Torah, "and show them the way in which they should walk and the work which they do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men." Key words there, able men, okay? No one wants to stand over everyone, okay? What has to happen is there has to be assembly, there has to be organization, but others have to step up too. See, a lot of people want to be the guy, but the problem is they don't want to do anything but mumble in the background. So my idea on that, I encourage you, everyone, to step up, because people in the assembly need help. All right? So people that are able men who fear Elohim, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and place these over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. You're going to see this again in the Brit Hadashah, or the renewed covenant, because the testimony, people call it the New Testament, there has to be a subject in which to testify on. The subject of the renewed covenant is the Messiah come in the flesh, okay? And the testimony is, the subject of it is the Torah, okay? To keep the Torah and live. Okay. "And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you," larger matters that maybe these other gentlemen can't handle as well, because Moshe has got a bit more wisdom because the Father's given it directly to him, face to face, crying out loud. "But they themselves rightly rule every small matter. So make it lighter for yourself, for they shall bear with you." Okay, which everyone needs people to help them and shoulder responsibilities. "If you do this word, and Elohim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all this people also go to their place in peace." Shalom, wholeness, with good answers that are Torah-based, right? "And Moshe listened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he said. And Moshe chose able men," keyword, able, "out of all Yisrael, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And they rightly ruled the people at all times, because he could trust them, because they were decent folks." The hard matters they brought to Moshe, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Moshe sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. Chapter 19. In the third new moon, in other words, the third month, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. They set out from Rephidim, and had come to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahuwah called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, Israel, and declare to the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. In other words, I brought you out here from me, okay? You're my people. And now, if you diligently obey my voice, and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession, which is my goal, for crying out loud, above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. Everything belongs to him already. To think that that's not true is ridiculosity, okay? If that's even a word. It is now. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. A reign, a kingdom of priests, not a kingdom of kings and priests. There is one king, okay? So a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. And what you're going to find out is this is repeated in the renewed covenant, okay? Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and set before them all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yahuwah has spoken, we shall do. That's what he wants to hear. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, See, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. Key word, forever. Throughout all of our generations. And Moshe reported the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Go to the people and set them apart today and tomorrow. And they shall wash their garments. Clean yourselves up. And shall be prepared by the third day. Sounds familiar. A reference to Passover, perhaps. For on the third day Yahuwah shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be better prepared, and I'm going to write these references down, and I'm going to give them to you. I'm probably not going to read them whenever I give them to you. I'm just going to give them to you so you can read for yourself. And you can see how this continually, just cycle after cycle after cycle, year after year, generation after generation, it layers on top of one another. It's the same story over and over and over again until all this is fulfilled, okay? And you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that you do not go up to the mountain, or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountains shall certainly be put to death. Don't touch the mountain. Shouldn't have touched the tree in the garden. Listen to the Father. Note, not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow, whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the Yobel, or the Jubilee, and they're talking about when the Yobel is, when the trumpets, the shofar's blown too, sounds long, it's talking about the shofar sound, let them come near the mountain. Can you imagine? And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people and set the people apart, and they washed their garments. Moshe set them apart, and their garments were washed. And he said to the people, Be prepared by the third day. Better get yourself in order. Do not come near a wife. Do not come near a wife. In other words, be clean in all aspects, okay? And it came to be on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and thick cloud and a thick cloud on the mountain, and a voice of a shofar, the ram's horn, was very strong, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. Hey, Nicole, would you bring me the shofar? We're gonna get some sound effects in here. I'll blow it a little bit, but I'm gonna keep on. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire. And its smoke went up like a smoke of a furnace, and all the mountains trembled exceedingly. I can imagine. I probably can't, but it must have been amazing. It was. And when a voice of the shofar sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. All right, check this out. So this is a shofar. Pretty good and sure that most of you know what that is by now. But if you don't, this is the sound that was being made. If I can do it for you. It's not too good. One more time. Not good. Okay. So I'm thinking about canceling this video after that. All right, y'all. One more time for the cheap seats. Okay, that's enough. But that's good enough, okay? So, sounded trembled exceedingly. And Yahuwah came down on the mountain, on Mount Sinai, on top of the mountains, and Yahuwah called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, Go down and warn the people, lest they break through unto Yahuwah to see, and many of them fall. And let the priests who come near Yahuwah set themselves apart too, lest Yahuwah break out against them. All right, so get yourself right. You know, don't come dirty. Don't come dirty of clothes. Don't come dirty of spirit. Don't come with negativity. You come and be thankful that you're even able to come near to the Father. That's how I feel whenever we read the scriptures together. I'm so blessed and thankful to even be able to come near to the Father that I'm zealous, absolutely. And the Father would rather that, okay? He wants us to be zealous. So a lot of people, they may, mistake that for anger, or I don't even know, a lot of times. But zealousness is a beautiful thing, okay? And Moshe said to Yahuwah, The people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, Make a border around the mountain and set it apart. And Yahuwah said to him, Come, go down, then come up, you and Aharon with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to Yahuwah, lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them. Now, Yahuwah knows everything. Abba Yahuwah knows everything, and he knows these people. It's like a kid told not to touch something. Go back to that tree. Don't touch the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't participate in it. Eat the fruit from it. Don't come near the edge of the mountain, or you're going to get killed. Someone is going to go over there and try to do it. So Yahuwah warned him and sent him down. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery, out of the world. You have no mighty ones against my face. Commandment number 1. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters underneath the earth. Statues and other things, by the way. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah your Elohim, am a jealous a jealous mighty one, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me. So here's the thing. So if you're making big mistakes, don't think that it's not going to affect your family, especially if you're supposed to be the head of your house. If you're the head of your house, you have to be the example for your house. So, as adults, let's put the childish crap away, okay? Because it's going to hurt your family. So this is a step towards the righteous aspect and towards doing things for your family by keeping the Shabbat and studying the scriptures. Okay, good to go. But showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. So he shows loving commitment to those who love him and guard his commands. Does that say the whole world? No. Okay. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, to nothing. For Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. So how does that go? So if you bring something to naught, you bring it to ruin, you bring it to nothingness. So maybe you do, maybe it would be speaking it vainly, but I guarantee you it's also not speaking it at all. Because we are to call on his name. We are to praise his name. We are to be thankful for him. And his name is attached to his character. That's going to be a repetitive discussion between you and I through all of our Torah portions. Because a lot of people have a misunderstanding that it's not important to call upon the name of Yahuwah. All right? It's absolutely important. Because if your name's John and I call you Fred, you're probably not going to like it too much. You're probably eventually going to get a little pissed off. Okay? So when I've let you know that, you let me know that John's your name, and then I call you John, you'll be appreciative of that, right? So you might even feel like we're friends or getting closer. So that's what Yahuwah has done. If he wants to let you close to him, he lets you know his name, and he lets you know how important it is to speak in his name and use his character whenever you live your life, okay? So, once again, you do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Shabbat, to set it apart. 6 days you labor, and shall do all your work. But on the seventh day is a Shabbat, a Sabbath of Yahuwah your Elohim. Whose Sabbath is it? It's the Father's. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days, Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah blessed, baraked, made holy, the seventh day, and set it apart. Okay? Set it apart for what? A time for us to be together, okay? And so since the Father did this and set it apart and wants us to participate with him as opposed to the worldly things and think about the things of the world, we're to not speak the words of the world. We're to not think about the thoughts of the world if we can help it. And we're certainly not to work and try to get financial gain during the Shabbat, okay? So let's don't do that, all right? So and here you are with me, and we're keeping the Shabbat together. That's beautiful. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. So your father and your mother, that's a self-explanatory type of a thing, because you do have an earthly father and mother, okay? And so you should definitely show respect to the best of your ability, whatever they'll let you do for them, right? So here's another thing. We might not be able to do that sometimes, and what's not said is sometimes just as good as what's said, because there's obedience of action and there's obedience of inaction, okay? Sometimes you can be respectful to someone by not saying things, and also by saying things. Next thing is the Father, and is the Father in heaven, okay? And the motherly aspect is the Comforter, or the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. So we are to respect our earthly father and mother, and we are to respect the Father and the Ruach, okay? Because if you don't, things don't go well for you in both cases. Next, you do not murder. It doesn't say you do not kill. It says you do not murder. To murder is to lie in wait for someone, for a greedy of gain thought process. To kill, if you end up in a situation, like in a wartime situation, or someone tries to hurt your family, it doesn't mean that you don't kill someone. That's a falsehood. That's a misunderstanding among many. You do not commit adultery. That is the seventh commandment. The seventh commandment is not to commit adultery. So, do not go physically commit adultery. Do not go spiritually and commit adultery either. The seventh one, I would have to say, maybe it's pointing towards the seventh day of the week, which we are to only have the Father as our Father and worship Him. Okay, and every day we do that, but seventh, we're specifically told to do it. So, I would have to say this is another form of not committing adultery by being faithful to our Father. Okay, because it is, by the way. You do not steal. That's self-explanatory. If it's not yours, keep your damn hands off of it. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Don't lie about people. You stir it long enough, it's going to get on you. And you do not covet your neighbor's house. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor, because the Father has given you your portion in life. If you're meant to have more, you're going to have more. That's all there is to it. Me personally, I'm glad just to be anywhere near the Father and to be able to read His scriptures. That's my portion in life. If He gives me any more than that, I'm going to be fine with that too. And I'll probably give it away for that matter, because I really don't care about that kind of stuff. And all the people saw the thunders and the lightning flashes, the voice of the shofar, and the mountain smoking, and the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance, and said to Moshe, You speak with us, and we hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. Wow. And Moshe said to the people, Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that His fear be before you, so that you do not sin. Sin is breaking the commandments. Okay? So the Father is like, hey, I'm testing you guys. I want to give you these things to do, these commandments to do, and so that you can draw near to me. And if you do these things, then that's what will happen. So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Elohim said to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, You yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from the heavens. You do not make besides me mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourself. I mean, hey, look, statues for sure, but also money is not something to worship. And a lot of people think that it is these days. Make a slaughter place of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your ascending offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I shall come to you and bless you. And if you make me a slaughter place of stone, do not build it out of cut stone. For if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. He wants the rocks the natural way that he made them. Nor do you go up by steps, don't even make steps, to my slaughter place, lest your nakedness be exposed on it. He's like, hey, listen to what I'm saying. Chapter 21. These are the right rulings which you are to set before them. When you buy a Hebrew servant, he serves 6 years, and the 7th year he goes out free. Hey, Nicole? The end of 20 is it, right? Yes. Okay, so what I did is I read the first verse in chapter 21. So these are the right rulings. So you can imagine we're going to talk about that next week. And I'm going to tell you the Hebrew word for it, and then, of course, I'm going to write this as a title. So this is the Torah portion. I hope you guys enjoy the Torah portion. I'm going to read separately the prophets and also the Brit Hadashah, or the renewed covenant, but they all go together. I'm not going to just read one section, but I'm only going to read one section per video. So if you guys enjoyed this, please, comment, and let's keep it clean, and let's be agreeable to one another. Like I said, there will be times whenever I'm not necessarily completely on tap with what the meaning of some things are, but that's going to be continually, okay, for each one of us, because we're always learning. We're always learning more things. I think I hit it on the head this time around. I kind of kept it simple, which it's a good thing for me to keep it simple. All right, y'all. Well, shalom, and I'll see you in the second part.